Nirvana lives again next.
MTV News.
I'm Kurt Loder with MTV News. Nirvana is back in the record store racks with a collection of great live concert performances called From the Muddy Banks of the Wishkah. The Wishkah being a river that runs through Aberdeen, Washington, hometown of the late Kurt Cobain and Nirvana bassist Chris Novoselic. It's taken a while for Novoselic and drummer Dave Grohl to emerge from the emotional wreckage of Cobain's suicide, but Wishkah is worth the wait. A stirring concert document spanning London 1989 to Seattle 94. The sort of inspired band that comes along all too rarely. We delved into our archives for some retro concert footage and pertinent quotes, and here they are.
Ann Arbor, Michigan. Rocks. Italy is really fun to play. England. I mean, we've been to a lot of places where we've had, you can't name them. You know, we could always name the bad shows, but it's hard to name the good shows because it's a good time.
17 of Nirvana's best performances are captured in all their celebrated onstage fury on From the Muddy Banks of the Wishkah. Songs range from Breed to Lithium, Negative Creep, and Smells Like Teen Spirit, recorded between 1989 and 1994 in such cities as Amsterdam, Rome, Seattle, of course, and Reading, England. Assembled and annotated by Nirvana drummer Dave Grohl and bassist Chris Novoselic, the album traces Nirvana's evolution from scuffling club dogs to certified arena stars.
Playing these larger places is just, it's a lot easier for us because we can actually breathe instead of, we've been going on tour for like 5 years, playing sweaty little clubs and sometimes choosing to play in the wrong time of the year.
Everybody wants to just have a good time and really go for it. It's like totally rocking out. It's like riding crazy, and like anybody who doesn't want to, you just kind of like shift back on like perimeter and just kind of rock out.
You tell me everything without poison apple.
Although Kurt Cobain was deeply ambivalent about Nirvana's success and voiced his doubts in his own lyrics, before the end, even he occasionally saw an upside to it in the sea of concert hall faces spread out before him.
I've been really surprised and happy to see the types of people that come to our shows. I know that sounds elitist, but I mean, they're really, I was surprised to see that there are that many kids in every city. They're just good, nice kids.
By the way, the studio version of Negative Creep is featured on the soundtrack of a much-admired documentary on the Seattle music scene called Hype, which will be released next month. And to mark the release of the Wishkah album, MTV is airing two riveting specials, Nirvana Unplugged and Live and Loud, back-to-back at Tuesday at noon at 8 p.m. and for late-night viewing at 1 a.m. Finally, Pearl Jam will play a concert in Charlotte, North Carolina on Friday night that's being billed as a Jesse Helms retirement party, a reference to the conservative senator who's currently running for a fifth term. The show will be a benefit for a group called Artists for a Hate-Free America. It'll be staged at Charlotte's Memorial Stadium with the Fastbacks and Ben Harper opening up. And if it's anything like the two dates Pearl Jam played at Randall's Island in New York City this past weekend, it should be well worth catching. With stage lighting purposely dimmed to near darkness at some points, the focus of Saturday night's show was clearly on the band's music, which was ferocious. John Popper of Blues Traveler contributed harp riffs to even flow. Eddie Vedder mocked the messianic tendencies of rock frontmen by announcing that he had a, quote, direct line to God. And while the show had to be stopped repeatedly because of trampling and crushing at the front of the stage, Vedder finally restored some semblance of simple human consideration by noting that if anyone was ever killed at a Pearl Jam concert, the band would never play again. That's the news for now. We'll be back with more later here on MTV.
MTV News. You hear it first.
But we're about 30 seconds from kicking in here, and I just want to make sure that everybody watches their neighbor, everybody keeps up. Don't do too much of this spinning pit stuff, because someone's going to get hurt, and that would suck.
This week, Pearl Jam bids farewell to Senator Jesse Helms of North Carolina.
I'm kind of excited about what could happen in this country this next election.
Clinton and Dole go mano a mano, and the Roots take us back to the foundations of hip-hop. I'm Kurt Loder.
And I'm Tabitha Soren, and this is The Week in Rock.
Pearl Jam played a liberal benefit concert in Charlotte, North Carolina last weekend. The show billed hopefully as a farewell party for conservative North Carolina Senator Jesse Helms, who's currently running for his 5th congressional term. Also on hand was singer Eddie Vedder's new political guru, Ms. Magazine founder and inner child advocate Gloria Steinem, back from the 70s. Here's the story.
We get a lot of letters, requests to play bar mitzvahs and sweet 16 parties and things like that. So when we heard there was a retirement party, we probably didn't think we could do it. When we heard it was for Jesse Helms, we said, sign us up.
The invitation was issued by 2 very liberal groups, Artists for a Hate-Free America and Musicians Organized for Voter Education, better known as MOVE. And since they're based in North Carolina, MOVE's main target is Republican senior Senator Jesse Helms.
As a young person in the state of North Carolina, I feel that he doesn't represent me on education, the environment, on the need to spend money to research AIDS, which is one of the leading killers of young people in this state.
Ultra-right-wingers have all concentrated on the Republican Party, taken it over, and now centrist and liberal Republicans have no place to go. So this isn't about being partisan. You know, it's about being against extremists.
Are there certain issues that he's against that are more important to you?
The censorship issue would hit closest to home. Through art, that's where most of your social commentary, or at least history has shown us, that's where most of your social commentary has been made. If you're not able to do that, that's a scary future.
The future is now. Let's go. Register to vote by the end of the night, all right? Do me a favor. Let's go there. All right.
Are you going to vote?
Yeah, we're going to be in Europe, but we're all set up.
You do your absentee ballot?
Yeah.
Elections bring a lot of things to the surface that maybe aren't as obvious or as, you know, is out there at other times.
Eddie, how do you follow politics in general? Where do you get your information from?
Gloria, I just call him Gloria.
And you are going to vote for yourselves and change the face of the Senate and change the face of Congress so that it looks like the country.
I'm kind of excited about what could happen in this country this next election. I'm pretty excited. If we can direct some light onto some of these issues, it's the least we could do. In fact, I think we feel a responsibility.
It's a really basic issue, you know. It's anti-hate, you know. It's like, it's a good thing.
Seeing the crowds that we've seen in the last 4 weeks or something, I was pretty inspired by people's energy, the intellect apparent in the crowds. Shocking, but it's good to see. There's all this talk about more propagated myths about Generation X and slackers and things like that. You know, this is an example. It's not true, and this is like my kind of guy.
Pearl Jam has now moved on to playing Neil Young's Bridge benefit next weekend, the 19th and 20th in San Francisco, and from there we'll head out on a European tour.
Meanwhile, as producer of Pearl Jam's records, as well as those of Stone Temple Pilots, Atlanta-based family man and studio whiz Brendan O'Brien has made quite a name for himself. His expertise behind the board has also helped out the careers of lesser-known acts like Johnny Polanski and Pete Droge. But O'Brien is doing so many different things these days, he's starting to look like a one-man band.
He just might be one of the busiest men in music. And this year alone, Brendan O'Brien's production credits include 3 albums, all debuting in the top 5. Stone Temple Pilots, Pearl Jam's No Code, and the sophomore release from Rage Against the Machine.
Well, Brennan's really like a musician, you know? And it's not like he's like a failed musician, and so he's doing production instead.
There were some times where I'd play a take and go back and listen to it and go, it's a pretty good take, but that's really out of tune. And he'd be like, dude, that's rocking. You know, just keep it.
I don't know if I said, dude, that's rocking, but I probably said something like that.
Brendan is truly amazing. He has impeccable ears, great guitar player. He can hear what I'm trying to convey onto tape. He already hears it without me even explaining it, and it just happens, you know.
You have a communication with an artist or whatever, and you know, a lot of times you don't have to even really talk about it. You just it's just this instant sort of language you have.
Besides language, O'Brien is musically fluent with plenty of instruments, which sometimes finds him lending a hand to artists like Pete Droge and Matthew Sweet.
Before I made a record with him, people told me, Brendan likes to play on the records he does, and I said, he's not playing on my record unless I decide. And when I went there, it's just so obvious he's really talented, you know, and he has kind of perfect pitch, which is really annoying. He has a lot of qualities that make me hate him.
I love to play, but if it's not the first thing in my mind, you know, okay, great, what can I horn in on today, you know? I've seen situations where people who have been producers or good players, and you see a lot of them on the records, and, you know, it's like, it's not really about those people, it's about the artist.
Somehow, between all of his projects this year, O'Brien has found the time to establish 2 new record labels. Shot Put Records deals mainly with independent releases and reissues, while the more mainstream 57 label includes artists like singer-songwriter Michael Penn, whose latest record O'Brien is also producing.
All I know about it is that it's Brendan's project, and in that I have a lot of trust in it that it's going to be, you know, a really sort of enjoyable experience.
Even with all the roles he plays, record label executive, musician, and Grammy-nominated producer, O'Brien says his favorite is still that of the consumer.
I tell you, honestly, I really like going to the store when the record comes out and buying it. It's kind of like you think about all the work you've done. And whatever happens after that, you know, it happens. I mean, I would be lying if I said I wasn't proud or happy about the things that have happened, but it's instant gratification.
O'Brien is now in the studio with Matthew Sweet, working on a follow-up to Sweet's last O'Brien effort, 100% Fun. O'Brien's 57 label will release Michael Penn's new effort in February.
And one legal note, former Smashing Pumpkins drummer Jimmy Chamberlain dismissed from the band after a heroin binge in New York City last July that left tour keyboardist Jonathan Melvoin dead, pleaded guilty in a Manhattan courtroom on Tuesday to disorderly conduct in connection with the incident. Chamberlain was given a conditional discharge, which is dependent on completing his current course of drug rehabilitation, which has 2 months left to go.
We'll be back in a moment with the presidential debate wrap-up and some young voters' reviews and The Roots in concert.